Howdy, it's me again. Today, what I'm gonna do is show you my new PID kit for the Gaggia Classic Pro. This is the Shades of Coffee PID kit. I ordered it from the UK. It took around 10 business days to arrive in Australia. And what I'm gonna do today is just show you around, tell you what it does, tell you how I find it, if it's good, if it's bad, if it's good and bad, and I'll let you know who this is for, and because I don't think that the PID kit is perfect for everyone that has a Gaggia Classic. So yeah, let's begin. As you can see, the PID kit is this, the PID is this little boxy thingy with a little screen on it. And what it does is it enables you to control the brewing temperature of the water for the espresso machine and the steam pressure. The way you control the steam pressure though is also by controlling the temperature of the water in the boiler. Those are the two options: the water brew temperature and the steam pressure. That's what it controls. Now, how it does it, I have no fucking clue. I'm not an expert in electronics. I don't know how this shit works. All I did was follow the manual, which was shit, a very shit manual. Believe me, I installed it following the manual, made a couple of mistakes because there were some mistakes in the manual. Then I contacted a friend of mine who also installed one of these. He told me where I went wrong and so on. So we fixed it, got it to work, and here it is. So in the manual, in the PID kit, you receive a precise thermostat that you replace the original thermostat of the Gaggia Classic with, and this is a more precise unit that gives you more control over the temperature of the water that's inside the Gaggia Classic boiler. When it comes to that thermostat, it was also very difficult to install, and the manufacturing quality of it was pretty shit as well. I might have even damaged it when I was installing it. I don't know, we'll see how it goes over time. But anyway, yeah, it gives you enough control over the brew temperature and the steam. If you're using different level roasts, such as a light roast, a medium roast, or a dark roast, you obviously need to switch between brewing temperatures and so on. So that way, that'll give you much more control. I'll show you later in some pictures the build quality of this kit. As I said before, is a bit questionable. I have a feeling that the person who has assembled this stuff and is selling it is getting all of these parts from somewhere in China, assembles it all together in one package, charges a hefty margin on it, and sells it to people. Because I did some calculations, and I think that if you order the parts separately from China, this will cost you around 100 Australian dollars, whereas it costs me to get it here in Australia 240 Australian dollars. So for example, let me explain to you why I think the build quality is questionable. Okay, so first of all, the PID case and the screws that go into the PID case are very fragile. So as soon as you apply a bit more pressure, the screw is stuck, and that's it. And I have one screw over here that's stuck completely, and there is no fucking way I can get it out. Also, the screw threads are also a bit weird, and some of the screws don't actually fit perfectly within the case. So you end up with a case that's looking like out of shape. There are gaps that are not equal between the little plates and so on. Then there is this little tube thingy that holds all the wires into place. It just looks like a 2-year-old made it, you know. And yeah, that's about it. But the good thing is, overall, the PID kit works fine. So it's pretty accurate, and the reason why it's also is very accurate is also that it has an auto tune mode where after a while it learns on its own, I guess, how this particular machine works, and then it auto tunes itself to achieve maximum consistency of water temperature, and then later also steam temperature as well, and steam pressure, right? And it's pretty easy to use. In the manual there are a couple of codes that enable you to enter the settings and set your brewing temperature, set your steam temperature, and also there is an interesting thing where you can set the temperature offset between what the thermostat at the boiler reads and the actual temperature of the water that's coming out of the brew head, because those two things are different. Where the thermostat is reading the water temperature is always going to be hotter than the water that is coming out of the brew head, and that's for the simple reason because that water in the boiler has to travel to other parts where it kind of cools down a bit. So in the manual it's recommended that the temperature offset should be 8 degrees, but that's not applicable to all cases. For example, in my case, it's probably around 6.5, 7 degrees. And the way I determined that is by, when I first installed the kit, I disconnected one of the wires so the thermostat the boiler wasn't heating up water. And then I compared the temperature reading on the PID here, which is the thermostat reading, and the atmospheric temperature or the room temperature of the place where the machine was. And the room temperature was 20 degrees, but this over here was showing me 13 degrees, which is an offset of 7 degrees. And that's how I set it to 6.5, 7, right? And it's been pretty accurate over time. It's also very stable. So the temperature fluctuations are not very high, although sometimes the temperature would shoot up drastically, but then it stabilizes. You just need to give it like a couple of minutes. Another thing is that a lot of Gaggia Classic owners ask is, does the PID help me heat up my machine faster? And the answer to that is no. Ideally, you would leave your machine on for around 15 to 20 minutes before you start making coffee. That way, not only your machine and all of the parts inside will have a stable, consistent temperature, will be brought up to temperature basically, but also the PID kit and the PID thingies that are all over inside over here, they will also make the brewing temperature stable, and that way you won't have huge temperature fluctuations. So in short, it doesn't help you heat up your machine faster. So make sure you preheat it, right? Next thing, how does this help me to make better coffee? Like, what's the point of being able to set different temperatures? And the answer to that is, if you are like me and you always have 4 different coffees in your cabinet waiting to be brewed, then all of those coffees will probably require a different brewing temperature. And the reason for that is, if you're using different level roasts, you require different brewing temperature. The lighter the roast, the higher the temperature you need, and the opposite. The darker the roast, the lower the temperature. The reason for that is because darker roasted coffee is more soluble, so it needs a lower temperature to achieve a good extraction, and the opposite. A lighter roast needs a higher brewing temperature because it needs hotter water to achieve a good extraction. That's at least my understanding of it. Also, I want to note that although you can adjust the steam pressure by adjusting the water temperature that goes through the steam wand, I must say that I'm not noticing a huge difference in steam quality opposed to just the Gaggia Classic without the PID. But what I am noticing is a longer consistent pressure overall from the steam wand, meaning that if before I had a consistent steam pressure for a minute, now I have a consistent steam pressure for a longer period of time, much more than 1 minute, which is good because if you are steaming a larger jug of milk, you need a stable steam pressure over a prolonged period of time. So this way you're not limited to only steaming small jugs of milk, which is a good thing, I think, you know. But the big question is it worth 240 Australian dollars or 100 and something British pounds, or I don't know how many US dollars or whatever currency you have in your country? And I don't have a short answer for that. It all depends on your needs. For example, if you're like me, and as I said, I use different types of coffees and blah, 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 and so on, then it's probably a good investment. You know, it's pretty useful to be able to control the brewing temperature, especially when it comes to making delicious coffee. But let's say you only make milky drinks and you have your favorite coffee roaster or your favorite blend or your favorite coffee beans or whatever, and you always stick to those particular beans, then there's probably no need to spend money on a PID kit because you're using the same beans all the time. Like, what's the point of investing $240 to adjust the temperature for brewing only one particular blend or some particular beans that you're using? So I think that you're better off investing the money you would spend on a PID kit into maybe getting a better grinder that's gonna grind finer or more consistent. So yeah, that's my take on this product. I don't think it's very high quality built, and I think it's a bit overpriced as well. But overall, I don't think I made a mistake because I've been enjoying using the PID for, I don't know, maybe a week now or something like that. I don't really remember. And since I'm juggling between different types of roasts, I'm getting consistent results and enjoying delicious coffee. What I'm gonna do now is just demonstrate how this thing works, and I'm gonna make an espresso. So what I have here is some delicious geisha coffee from Colombia, and it's a washed processed coffee, and it's amazing. And I probably have around 20 grams of coffee left, so let's enjoy it together. I have found that for this particular coffee, since it's a lighter roast, it's good for both espresso and filter, or at least I enjoy it both ways. And I found that when it comes to espresso, it's very delicious when I brew it at around 92 degrees temperature. So let's get into it. I am dosing 19 grams of coffee and aiming for a yield of around 35-36 grams. And so let's get into it. It smells amazing. This is a delicious coffee. It's from a Melbourne-based roastery called Symmetry, and they always have some nice coffees laying around. I've been a regular customer there, and you can also see the PID at work today. So I'm not sure if you can see, but this up arrow allows me to change the temperature up and this one down. I'm just gonna leave it at 92 degrees. It's flashing at the moment, but soon it's gonna stop. The machine has been preheated. I'm not sure if you can see the display, but it's accurate to within 0.1, 0.2 degrees. So it's pretty good. Let me just set my grinder. There we go. There we go. So you see now the temperature is gonna start dropping, but it's also gonna rise up again. I'm also gonna show you how the steam pressure works as well. You'll see how long lasting it is compared to before when it was without the PID kit. So at the moment it's at 91.34, but it's still rising. So it does take a couple of minutes to stabilize again after you purge. There we go, 91.9, and it's gonna stay there until we start making coffee. What I forgot to mention is that the way you set up your steam temperature is the max recommended is 150 degrees, and it's recommended to start with 137. At the moment I have it at 147 degrees, so it's still 3 degrees below the max limit, but that way I'm also getting stronger steam because I already know how to froth milk. But let's say you're a beginner and you don't know how to froth milk, then that level of adjustability gives you time to not destroy the milk, and it'll give you a slow swirl instead of a huge mess, right? So it's perfect for anyone who's either starting learning about coffee or already has some experience and maybe just wants to go for it. We are good to go. At the moment we are not at 92.6, so it offshooted 0.6 of a degrees above the temperature I wanted, which is still fine. It's not a big deal, you know. It's half a degree. Like, we're not scientists over here. Gotta take it easy a bit. It's only coffee. We're aiming for brew time of around 24, 25, 26 seconds. We'll see what happens. We have 23 seconds. Not bad. Not great, not terrible, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do. Now, we're gonna steam some milk. What I do is simply press the steam button and the temperature starts rising straight away. It's gonna rise until 147, or at least it should. But it always offshoots a bit, like 152, 53, and then it'll come down a bit. You'll see. There we go, 151.7, and now it's gonna drop to 147, 145, 144. Okay, and now it's gonna start rising again. It's like it's riding a wave. It goes until a certain temperature, then drops a bit, then goes up a bit. So I think that's how this thing is supposed to work. I don't think there is anything wrong with it. Let me just purge a bit, and I'll just show you the steam pressure. I just want to look at that. Look how powerful that is. And it goes on and on and on. Temperature is obviously dropping, but it's still pretty powerful. And now it's rising again. If it's rising, that means you won't run out of steam. Previously, when the Gaggia is without a PID kit, you are running out of temperature, you're running out of steam, because the temperature is only achieving a peak and then going straight down. So there are no ups and downs like now. So you see 143, so it's still going. Yeah, that's a good thing. I just made a bit of a mess over here, but all in the name of YouTube. Don't forget to wipe your steam wand. Don't be a fucking peasant, please. And then switch it off. If you want to make a coffee straight after steaming some milk, you will have to cool down your machine. And the easiest way to do that is after you have turned off the steam button, to just let out the steam. That way, the temperature is only going down, and since the steam button is off, it won't go up again. So this way it's gonna come back to the brewing temperature that I need for coffee. Good. Alright. Let's try it. Don't forget to stir the espresso. This is a nice bright coffee. Has a citrus acidity, something like orange, maybe lime. Overall, very delicious as espresso without milk, but with milk, it's very nice and creamy. It has a almost like a apple cordial taste, and a nice coconut milk finish almost. It's very creamy. It's delicious both with or without milk. So yeah, thank you for watching. Comment below if you have any questions about the PID kit, or just send us a message. You can also check us out on Instagram, send us a message there, and so on. You know, you can send us a message anyway. You can even write us a letter if you want, you know. Whatever works. Thank you for watching, and bye. Hey, buckaroos, how'd you like that? No matter if you did or didn't, tell us what you think in the comments below. We love you either way. Check out the 2 suggested videos, subscribe to the channel, and while you're here, have a look at our social media accounts. We have some cool content over there as well. Alrighty, time to fuck out of here. Peace.